Welcome, lovers, to another episode of Oh So Smitten, the Wedding Podcast. If you're in your bride era, then this podcast needs to be your new obsession. Now, today's guest is going to be specifically for those lovers who have tiny humans that have their heart, but are still questioning how to incorporate to have them in their wedding day. Whilst they are your whole world, your wedding day should be all about you and your lover. We have the beautiful Rachel from the Nuptial Nanny, a Melbourne-based nanny service for those couples planning to say I do. Now, she is a woman of many talents. Not only is she a mum to little Miss Lila, but she holds a Bachelor of Nursing and also has experience working as an early years educator. So she is truly the Mary Poppins you need to consider for your day. Rachel created the Nuptial Nanny with the perfect combo in mind, her love for weddings and working with children. Rachel understands the need to give couples the option to include children at their wedding completely stress and guilt-free, because we all know how that mama guilt feels. As a mum, she truly understands the importance of having your favorite humans being present as you exchange your vows, but also needing the peace of mind and having someone watch over them so you can celebrate your love well into the evening. So whether you're a Melbourne-based or you're just in need of ideas to how to have your little darlings a part of your day, then you're going to appreciate this episode. Before we get into today's episode though, I just want to remind you of the sweet little discount that the Whole Bride have shared with the Smitten listeners. If you're after a confetti moment as you walk back down the aisle, then you definitely need to order their iconic confetti. It's biodegradable and also comes in a range of colors to suit any theme. Use the code SMITTEN in capitals to receive 15% off site-wide. I mean, we all love a discount, right? But let's get into today's episode because I know you're going to love this one. Hello, Rachel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited, and I say that always, and I always even say to myself, let's just change it up a little bit, but I am genuinely excited to chat with you today.
Yes, very nice to meet you.
As you know, this podcast is for those lovers who are planning their wedding journey, and some of those beautiful couples have little tiny humans that I guess they are choosing whether or not to have a part of their day. So that is what we are going to explore and chat about today.
Sounds great.
I loved that I read in your bio that you just love all things weddings. So what is it particularly that you love about weddings?
I just love the whole vibe. I think it's such a nice, everyone's getting together, family you might not have seen in ages, or all your closest people basically coming for like a big party to celebrate your love.
And that's exactly it, because I think sometimes you will never have, and I remember someone telling me this after my day, and I was like, oh, I really wish I heard that before. But someone said to me, you will never have all of the most important people and special people in your life in one place, like most likely ever again. And I was like, wow, that just like hit really heavy in the heart, because truly that is what it is.
Yeah, it's such an amazing, you do spend a lot of money, but I think it's so worth it. It's so nice that everyone comes together, as you said, all the people you love in the same place at one time.
Now, you do so many other things other than that being what you do with the Nuptial Nanny, which I just want to talk about firstly, because I guess it has like a bit of an undertone as to why you started the Nuptial Nanny.
Yeah.
You do so many things. I was just like, when I was reading your little about me on your website, I was like, oh my gosh, this woman is a superwoman.
I like to keep busy.
Similarly to me, I'm always just like busy, and people are like, when do you have time for that? I'm like, I don't.
I think you just thrive in what you love, right? So, if people are like, oh my God, that's so much, but it's like for you, that's what makes you happy. So,
And I guess I resonate with you because I have also worked in the early years setting, and then I went on to study teaching. You've worked in early years, but then you've gone on to study nursing.
yeah, so basically I started off like an early learning centre. I did my diploma in early childhood. So I worked in childcare for many years. And then my initial thought was going into some like pediatric nursing. So that kind of was the start of my, I guess, passion for nursing. I actually didn't even end up in pediatrics. I ended up just doing a lot of surgical type nursing. So I've been a nurse for 4 years now. So I work casually at a public hospital in Melbourne, and I've actually just recently started doing some nurse telehealth triage from home as well.
Just exploring it all.
Yeah. But yeah, I love it. And I feel like, as I said before, I like keeping myself busy. I like, a little bit of everything. So I did do my midwifery studies. I did that in 2021, but I think COVID was just interrupting my placements, how it interrupted a bit of everyone's. life. And then we actually just decided to have our daughter, Lila. So I had her in the beginning of 2022. I took a bit of a break from midwifery. It's quite full on in the sense of its placements and time that you take away. I'm just focusing on Lila for now.
Yeah, amazing. And so beautiful that you have that time to be able to spend those early years together because as you know, as an early years educator, so important. And even as a mum, like with a couple of girls like older, time just goes so quickly. So being able to just like cherish those moments, even though a lot of the time it's incredibly hard,
For sure.
appreciating the moments, but all of those roles that you have explored, oh my gosh, it just takes an incredible human to do all of those things, like early years in childcare and then nursing, particularly pediatric nursing, like, oh my gosh, just like props to you.
And yeah, I definitely feel like the Nuptial Nanny was created in a sense of having my own daughter and getting engaged and that all kind of happening.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so I think that kind of sparked a bit of that passion as well. Something I could do to help other couples out, on the weekends where, my daughter could also be spending time with family.
Yeah, definitely. So let's explore that a little bit more and then we'll get into the proposal because I want to hear all about it. So let's begin with how the nuptial nanny came about. So, as you said, it was because you had your daughter Lila. So, what year did you start doing the nuptial nanny?
So it's this year, so fairly recently. I think once I got out of the whole little baby mindset, got her into daycare, started focusing on myself a bit more because, sometimes it can take some time.
Yeah, which is so important. After having the little ones, it's like, well, what do I want to do now? Because you've studied all of these incredible careers, but then you have children and it makes you go, oh, like that doesn't actually really fit into like my daughter's schedule anymore. So what am I going to do? So I guess flexibility came with that as well.
100%. I babysat because I've done nannying for many years throughout my studies. I had babysat at a few weddings before. So I think I always had it in the back of my mind as it could potentially be a good idea to, help couples relax into their day. And I think when I got engaged and obviously I had my daughter, I was like, what do you do if, you have a young baby and can be quite, I think, anxiety provoking trying to plan for your wedding, but then also thinking, oh my God, like I've got this most important little one that I also need to prioritize. So
Yeah. And it's
yeah.
like intertwining both of those things. Like it's the most special day for you and your partner, but then it's also such a special day that you want like your family to all be there together. So, oh, like it is. And it's such a tricky decision for all of those beautiful couples who have little ones and they want them to be a part of their day. I know as a celebrant, I'm always asking couples, like, if you want to include your children in your ceremony, like, how do we want to do that? And then they kind of go, oh my gosh, like either I didn't think of that or I didn't know that that was a possibility because they want them there for the ceremony, but then they're also like, but do I? So I guess there's so much questioning happening around it.
Yes, and I have kind of two, I guess, different type of couples come to me. Some are like, oh my God, I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, this is so great that you offer this. And they're really like, they take it on as, something they'd never thought of. And then I have people that are like, we've been trying for like months to try and get our head around how we can work this out. And obviously, when you're having a wedding, all your family are there too. So you might not be comfortable getting them to kind of take that on your day because they want to enjoy those moments as well. So I think it's a really good option.
Yeah, and we can definitely talk about this more afterwards. I've seen that before as a celebrant is like I go visit the couple prior to the ceremony happening and they have family looking after the little ones, but they're not enjoying the moment that really is not happening again. Like this is the moment. It's really hard to see. So that's why I'm just so passionate about sharing, not only because I have little ones, so it's like I totally get it, but being in the industry, like witnessing that, of course, you want your little ones there, but like you also want to be so present in the moment and you don't want to wake up the next day or look back 5 years later and go, whoa, that was just chaotic. Because as you know, we just like cannot guess like the little attitudes or the feelings that are going to arise on the day because They feel it.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, they feel
Yes.
all of it. And if we're feeling overwhelmed or if we're feeling emotional, all those types of feelings that arise, then they're going to feel that too.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's get to it. Let's talk about the proposal. So what happened? When did it happen? And when's the big day?
Jade and I got engaged last September.
Amazing.
We were actually in London at the time. So my daughter was 5 months old and I had no idea. We'd kind of touched on the subject, but thought, maybe not yet. We kind of had like other financial priorities. So we were actually at the Sky Garden in London and we went up, had some brunch. My daughter Lila was with me and it was kind of just like a casual place down of the ring box. I didn't actually know it was happening initially. I think because I just had no idea. Then you just asked me. He didn't get down on one knee.
You're like,
I know, rude.
like,
No, I didn't really mind. We're not too traditional. I was just like, it was such a nice surprise. I think he kind of said I wanted to do it like while you're with all your family. So I thought that was really lovely. I'm very surprised that I had no idea because there was two kind of things that happened in the lead up, which in hindsight, I look back at now, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not know?
It is so funny because even though you have those discussions like with your partner about like, yeah, like when is this happening? Like blah, blah, blah. And then it happens and you're like, whoa, when did you think of to do this?
Yeah. He told me to put something nice on, which is like in hindsight, he'd never do that. Like, and then we had to go through security to get up to the top. Apparently, like he had to take it out of his pocket, but for some reason I just did not see at all. It's just crazy.
Oh my gosh. I've spoken about this before. It's just like how they must feel like carrying it around with them and like that sense of anxiety. Like I would just not be able to wait.
Yes. He said he was so nervous.
So when is your special day?
Yeah, so we're getting married next year in November, so 2024. We're getting married at the Log Cabin Ranch in Monbulk.
Yeah, amazing.
So yeah, it will just be like a big weekend. There's on-site accommodation. So yeah, really excited. And I think some of our family from the UK will be coming over too.
Yeah, beautiful.
Awesome.
And how have you found the planning process so far?
I am very like organized. So we went to see the venue and I was like, yeah, this is it. I kind of just fell in love with it, fell in love with the owners. Once I'd booked that in, I was like, right, these are the things that I have to book in and then the rest I can kind of wait. And, I went and got my wedding planner and I find that stuff so fun. So I was like.
Yeah, exactly. And you just kind of know, and we've spoken about this before, but once you book those like big ticket vendors, then it's amazing how like a wedding comes together. You're like, oh, okay, this is working. Like we've got this.
And everyone's different, I think. Like some people aren't so much like planners or they don't enjoy it as much. But for me, I was just like, yeah, like this is my
You're like, this is my time has come and I'm in my element.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
But yeah, I think the one thing I did find a bit overwhelming was probably like, like everyone trying to work out what was important and what to kind of splurge on.
Yeah.
And then things that obviously wasn't so important for me. So, for me, I really wanted a videographer.
Yep.
But I felt like I needed to kind of cut back on some other things. So like, a cake and spending big money on flowers wasn't as big for me.
Yeah.
And obviously like getting a nanny. So that was definitely a priority because I think, everyone has things at their wedding that mean something to them and just working that budget, what you can cut back on and what you want to prioritize was probably the harder bit.
Yes, I love that you've touched on this because I've spoken on the podcast before all about having a chat with your partner, like just straight up in regards to budget. Because if you're anything like me, I was just like spending the money.
Yeah.
Like I had no budget because I was just so excited. But I think looking back, if we had have had that budget chat, then I probably could have saved a lot of money. But also having those discussions around like, what are your non-negotiables?
Yeah.
Like, so for you, your non-negotiable was a videographer.
Yeah.
And it was actually the same for me. Like I really, really wanted a videographer. But for some other couples, they might choose to have a videographer later on
Yeah.
if their budget allows. So they might get to the end and be like, perfect, we've like gone within our budget, so let's get a videographer. And yeah, I love that you guys have already had that chat, and so you're kind of like on the same page with where you're heading with your planning.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So let's talk just about your experience with the children. So obviously in your career path that you've chosen, every element, I guess, has like been with children. Is that where the Nuptial Nanny came about, you know, including that into your love for weddings?
Yeah, for sure. I think I find so many rewarding things out of looking after children. I think,
Yeah.
I just find like early childhood development just so fun. Like I just love watching them engage in play, and, part of it as well is helping the couples be able to kind of step back and know that they've got someone to trust. I find that part of it really rewarding as well. And yeah, I think children, they're all so different. And yeah, being able to kind of be there, someone that they can come to, trust, engage with, that's the perfect mix.
Yeah. And I'm sure, like, for any couple who are getting married, like,
Yeah,
the fact that you alleviate their stress on their day, like, you
yeah.
will make them the happiest of all the vendors, I'm sure. So that's like really special, that the fact that they can relax, enjoy,
Yeah.
and celebrate with all of those people. So what do your services provide? So if people are thinking like, oh my gosh, this woman is like heaven on earth, like, what do your services offer?
Yeah. Okay. So everything basically, I can just come for your reception period. A big one that I find couples love about it is the transportation side. So, obviously it's so hard when you're getting limos and, all this kind of thing to kind of when you're having that off-site, place you're getting ready,
Yes.
or an off-site accommodation. So I can offer transport. I can offer like the full day, so I could come while you're getting ready, look after the couple's children and maybe some of the bridal party's children, take them, meet everyone at the venue, look after the children during the ceremony, and then dinner time. And, some people would prefer me to then take the kids home earlier on. So maybe enjoy the ceremony there, photos, and then I take them back to an offsite accommodation, look after the kids, put them to bed. Some people like me staying overnight, so, they can just fully relax into their night, or,
Yeah.
whether it's the grandparents come back and take over. I also offer set up activity spaces, which I find is really popular for when there's lots of like the guest children coming.
Yep.
Because if you're having like a really inclusive wedding with a lot of children, it's a really good option just to kind of have some, some low picnic tables for the kids to do some activities on, and have their snacks, have their dinner. I've got little high chairs for the smaller bubs, and so I think that's a really good option. They've been quite popular in the sense of just being able to fully step back and know that like all the, the activities and stuff, especially for the younger ones as well.
And I feel like if people are inquiring, then they're kind of wanting the full works. Like they're wanting someone to look after their little ones like for the day. And
They want to be able to step back.
yeah, and being able to just like have them there, but then also relax and know that they're there and enjoying the time. But then like such a big day for the little ones, they get so
Yes.
exhausted. The emotions are high, so they, I'm sure, are just shattered like after that ceremony,
Yeah.
and are probably happy to just go home and have some downtime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think like battling that overtiredness is really important, because, when kids are tired, it goes
Yes.
downhill.
Oh my God. Yeah. And you're like just driving away with the biggest smile on your face, like everything's fine.
So yeah, I think basically having all the options was really important for me, because there's not a one package that fits all for weddings. It's whatever the couple is most comfortable with, whatever how they envision their day. That's why I really like doing a video call, like offering that kind of peace of mind and just being able to work out all those logistics, because sometimes you just don't know where to start and it can be really overwhelming. overwhelming. Yeah.
And I'm sure people find your service and just think this is too good to be true. I just need to chat through all the options. And so
Yes.
do you offer that possibility for people to go, okay, I would love like this and that, and like do a bit of a pick your own package?
Yes. Yeah. Basically, everything's customizable. So if they say, hey, I want you here for 8 hours from this time to this time. So yeah, it's very flexible.
Yeah, amazing. And so let's talk about the process. So if someone's inquiring with you for services for their wedding day, let's just chat through what that looks like from the first point of inquiry to the wedding day or the day after.
Yeah. So basically, just sending me a bit of an email via my website or Instagram message is also fine. And just letting me know how many children you have at the wedding, what's your kind of idea about the day. And then I usually say, okay, let's schedule in a quick video call. Then we can discuss all the options, can meet me, just have that bit of peace of mind. Then, obviously they can go away, think about it. I send them through an invoice, and then it's just a deposit to lock in the date. And then 2 weeks out from the wedding, I send an email, and it basically just has a heap of communication forms. I just find that on the day, you're not wanting to kind of think about anything,
Yeah, all the extra details of like, oh, they like this cuddly and they need to be sung this song with like minimal line.
Yeah, yeah. So I think having me going into the day, having a basic idea of the children's routine, any allergies or, little things like that, me knowing that beforehand, I think makes a huge difference because, yeah, on the day, your mind's just going to be everywhere.
Yeah, just like, who are my children? Where are they? And who are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, incredible. And I think that is, as you say, so important for parents to be able to have a FaceTime chat with you and just feel really comfortable in the decision that they're
Yeah,
making because it is a big thing. Like technically you're meeting them
yeah,
on the day, and I know on reflection
exactly.
from my wedding day, I was working at an early learning center at the time, and I actually got one of the girls that I worked with
Yeah,
to come along to my wedding. And so we got married at a venue that had like a house on site. So she actually stayed in the house and looked after a couple of children that were
yes.
there. More so during the ceremony, I didn't have our girls at the time, but it was more so for them to just have that opportunity for the parents who had like little babies to be looked after during the ceremony.
And,
And
they can still come and go. I think I always say that to couples to kind of communicate that with, like, I'm not there to take the children away. Like, obviously, if
yeah,
couples want me to, then that's totally fine. But I like
yeah,
to say, like, it doesn't mean you can't come and go, especially with the little babies. I do say as well, like if you think that your child will have a bit more separation anxiety, then obviously I kind of discuss that with them, what would be the best option so we don't have meltdowns every time they're coming and
yeah.
going. But I think on a general sense, it's nice for couples to know I can be there, obviously, to engage with the children, but it doesn't mean I have to, necessarily take them away.
Yeah, it's not like a yes or a no.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you can still see your children, which is so beautiful because something that they might have envisioned prior to their wedding day, they might change their mind on the day and just be like, look, you know what, this isn't really working, or you know what,
yeah,
like I'm casual, I'm
yeah.
happy for them to come and go. So how many children do you suggest is ample for you to be looking after, and can you get like additional nannies to support you if you have like a range of children, variety of different ages? How does that all work?
Yeah, so basically, with the amount of children I can have, it will depend on their age. So, obviously, if you have, say 3 children that are really small babies, and then you've got, an extra toddler or something, and they're all kind of within under 2, or, it depends on the ages basically. So, obviously, and also on a case to case basis, because I think, like, for say, if I had a few children that I had to put to bed and one baby had like really high sleep needs, obviously that's something that we'd have to discuss because, I'm not going to be able to manage all of them at the same time. So I like to keep it on a case to case basis. But in a general sense, definitely I recommend an additional nanny if there's a lot of children on the younger side, as well as a couple of the toddler or older age children, just to make sure that, there's enough hands, because, I don't want to take on too much. The couples want to feel comfortable that I can manage the children as well.
Yeah.
I have a few connections with nurses and even other people that work in childcare. My mum occasionally does weddings with me. She loves children. She's grown up with really little brothers. So she sometimes comes along as well, which is really nice because
Yeah.
I can, you can fully rely on your mum.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure for parents as well, that is
Yeah.
another element of peace of mind, is the fact that you have that nursing background, you have the early years background, you're genuinely passionate about it, but you're also capable in a sense of an emergency.
Yeah, I think parents just love the nursing side.
Yeah.
Even throughout all my years of babysitting, nannying, I just am on high demand.
Yes. Oh, I can imagine. If only you lived closer, I would definitely be calling you. But I think as well, particularly because you've recently had your daughter, I think that that's
Yeah.
also an
Being a mum is, I think, a big thing. And I think I definitely, since having Lila, I think even with years and years of experience, when you have your own kids, there's certain things that will stick out to you, being oh,
yes.
okay. So I
Yeah.
think that's really helped in developing the business, because, I know what, as a mum, I know what would make me anxious, what would be important to me if I was hiring someone to come on the wedding day. So I think, yeah, that's a huge comfort as well for some couples, knowing that I'm also got a young.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I completely agree. Yeah, and resonate with that so much. So, what has the feedback been like from the beautiful
Yeah.
couples that you've attended their wedding? Are they just in awe of what you're doing?
Yeah, I think my major thing that I've had is just oh my God, I just got to just not think. I got to just relax into my day and night,
Yeah.
knowing that I can have, the most important people in my life there still, but also be able to still not stress about having anything to do with that bedtime routine, or worrying about getting them there or getting them
Yeah.
home, or all those little things, and just being able to have them there. I feel like when all your family's together there on the day, some people haven't seen those little ones for a while. So I think
Yeah.
I've had some feedback saying, they still got to see everyone. I still got to include them in the photos, but I didn't all at the same time also have to
Yes.
worry about, things like meal times or snacks or nappy changes or all those little things that you don't want to have to do on your wedding day.
It's just all those never-ending tasks, like getting snacks,
Yeah.
getting them to sleep, the
Yeah.
fact that you can get rid of those. I mean, I would do this just on a Tuesday.
So I think, yeah, that's the main type of feedback I've got, just to be able to, completely relax and not have that anxiety as well, towards the wedding. Because I think when you're planning for your wedding, a lot of couples have been this has just been giving us so much anxiety. And now, I know that I've booked you in, I can just relax. So I think you obviously don't want to be stressing about your children for the lead up to your wedding. You should be excited. So I think that's really nice to know that I've given someone that kind of reassurance. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's so beautiful. And
Yeah.
I guess quite heartwarming for you to be you're making such an impact
Yeah.
on people's big day. They only get it once. So the fact that you can just kind of help alleviate the stress in the lead up to it, because it's so overwhelming. And the fact that I know in regards to people who I work with, who I'm marrying as a celebrant, the biggest thing is those last couple of weeks before their wedding day. They are just if I hear from one more vendor, because you're kind of yoo-hoo, just checking in, got some questions. So the fact that you've alleviated that very early on in the process is so lovely. So what plans do you have with the nuptial nanny or personally?
What plans? I don't know. I guess I just want to build it up to the sense that, like, you know, I really want to get the word out there, because I think, as we've been discussing, like, it's so nice for people to know that they can include children on their wedding day. I think if you don't want children on your wedding day, that's also totally fine. Like, I have a lot of friends that haven't, and, you know, I don't think, if you don't feel like you want children there, I don't ever say you should do it out of pressure.
Yeah.
But I think it's really nice, you know, if you are maybe open to the idea, to kind of know it's an option. So
Yeah.
I guess I want that for the nuptial nanny. And I think in the future, I just want to, you know, eventually build it up to like a full-time gig for myself.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I obviously want to keep the nursing. I think, like, I really enjoy that on a casual basis, being a mum, all
Yeah.
those other things. But
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely keeps you busy.
yes.
I don't know if you've seen in all the like chat rooms for weddings, like the controversial topic that surrounds, I guess, having children at weddings and like the hard things that couples have
Hmm.
to work through in regards to people choosing as a guest to be quite, how would we say it, persistent on bringing their children. What would you say, like, in regards to advice for that? If is that coming up in conversations that couples are having with you when they inquire?
I think you're definitely right. I have kind of heard that there's like sometimes like a bit of a pressure
Yeah.
from guests at times, you know,
Mm.
that should be an option. I think my advice, I guess, for couples, is that what you're meaning? Like, how to navigate that?
Yeah, just how to navigate it, and particularly around like sometimes it can just come down to like wording
Mm,
and wording it correctly in a sense. Because I know for our wedding, I requested like, you know, for no kids to be at the wedding. And that was just like a
yeah.
personal choice because
Hmm.
we were like, we just wanted to celebrate. Like, we wanted a big party and we were
Yeah.
at that time in our life as well. Like, it would probably be very different now. I would probably make a
Yeah.
different like decision.
Absolutely.
So I guess it's tricky, but at the time I had a lot of people around me that had little babies. So it's like trying to accommodate that too, because I'm like, well, they need to come with you because you're their mother, you're feeding them, all of those come up. But yeah, I was just curious to see if, yeah, couples are asking that as part of the process.
It's a hard one, because, you know, you want to be accommodating for your guests, but if you are deciding not to have children, I think at the end of the day is your day, and I don't think there should be any type of pressure. I think my word of advice would just be to kind of be honest. I think you're not going to go wrong by saying, hey, like, you know, this is the day that we envision. Like, and, you know, I
Yeah.
think if there's any day you can be selfish, it's your wedding day.
Yeah.
So as I said, like, if you're not comfortable with it, then, you know, just be honest, kind way. Just say that, you know, we really envision this day, you know, this way. I really hope that, you know, we
Yeah.
can try and work something out, whether or not you be a little bit flexible too. Like, of course, like if you're a breastfeeding mum,
Yeah.
like maybe having them there, you know, at times where you might feel a bit more comfortable.
Yeah. But the fact that, like, if people are having to navigate that conversation, as you say, it's about being honest and like true to like your decision, but also being like,
Don't ever feel pressure. I think that's like the most important thing.
and then it's also saying, okay, you know, this is a decision that we've made, but we're also going to have a service similar to the nuptial nanny here that can take care of the children who need to be there. I think that that's just like the perfect opportunity to be able to say, I'm working with you, but also this is the decision that we've made.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean. Like, if you're feeling open towards it, but you just don't know how it would work, I think that's like, it's a really good option. Then, you know, like, it's not going to impact on those, you know, that vision you have about, you know, it being a big party and things, you know, even though kids are involved, it doesn't mean they can't like kind of be there, be cared for, and then go home when they're ready for bed, you know. So I think it doesn't have to impact on the day as much as I guess you could sometimes think. But
Yeah, exactly. So what are you most looking forward to for your wedding day?
ooh, good question. I just think it's just having everyone that we love there. It's just having Lila there is going to be really amazing. Like, I think I never was strict about having to get married before kids, and I think it's becoming more, of a popular thing, like having children sometimes before weddings. It doesn't always have to be traditional. Like for some people it is, and that's fine. But I think I find it really exciting, the fact that she's going to be there, and just to have, because your family all is there, so I think it would be really nice to have her walk down the aisle and be really
emotional.
cute.
Anytime I've officiated a ceremony and there's children involved, I'm like half the time like,
I know, I don't know how I'm going to make it, but
I'm just like really trying to like wipe the tears away from my eyes. I'm like, this is a lot, like particularly when they walk down to one of the partners. It's just like, I was like, guys, I'm gonna bawl my eyes out. This is so overwhelming.
But no, I think I'm just looking forward to just, like you said, it being like that big party, all your friends there, all your family, having Lila there as well.
I just look back at our wedding day with just like the fondest memories. And I think a tip or a piece of advice that I love to share with couples who are planning their day is definitely take a moment in the day where like you and your partner, even Lila as well, just like walk away from the space itself
I've heard that
and
before.
just like look back on like everyone, and everyone's just having like the best time. Of course, my husband and I did it at like, 8:00, where everyone was like well and truly having a good time. So that was just, and I just remember saying to him, like, this is so special. Like everyone was just there. No one was, in the slightest bit upset. Like everyone just had the beaming smiles on their faces because they were just having such a good time. And I remember when people were coming to say goodbye, and I was like, no, this can't be happening. Like not already.
I
this
don't want
cannot
this
be
to
happening.
end.
So yes, I'm so excited for you. It's such a beautiful time just in your life, and the fact that you've got your gorgeous daughter to be able to share in the day with you. I know that if I was to get married again to my husband, it would be
just renew your vows.
It would be so beautiful having it would be so special having our girls there. I definitely remember being so worried about getting through my vows, but I know if we had our daughters there, I would find it even harder.
I know. Oh gosh.
But I love just chatting about your service. And I think that if people are on the fence and they're listening and they've got children who are going to be a part of their day, I think that the biggest piece of advice is just to reach out to you, particularly if they're in your area, or reach out to someone who has a similar service, or just find someone. If you didn't know that this service existed, I think it's just about having someone. It could be like a friend that's not actually invited to the wedding, but they're close enough that they might know your children, or you might have like a babysitter or something like that to be able to be a part of your day, because I think it's a game changer.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. And I can't wait for everyone to hear this episode.
It's been lovely.
Now, lovers, that is all there is time for today. I hope you adored this episode just as much as I did. As you indulge, be sure to share away on your socials, tagging @ohsosmitten_ so I can feature you, and of course do a sneaky follow and stalk on your wedding day. I would be so grateful if you could leave a review wherever you listen to your podcast, 5-star of course, and share the love of the podcast to those who are about to walk down the aisle. Be sure to check out and join the official Smitten Love book over on Facebook. These are our people, because remember, no one loves talking about your wedding day more than those about to say I do. I'm here to make your day that little bit more intentional and curated with all the finer details. Within this community, choose kindness, and as always, I acknowledge the land in which I'm recording this podcast. I can't wait to chat next week, lovers. Bye-bye.